After reading chapter 2 carefully, answer the following questions. What was the similarity and difference between Rodolphe and Rodolphe V? They were identical, but the king's mouth was less wide, and Rodolphe's face was a little thinner. What did the king ask Rodolphe to do? He asked him to have a meal together. What strange thing did the king tell Rodolphe? He told him that he didn't have a house there and that he was staying in his brother's hunting lodge. Why did Fritz and Sab have to leave at 6 in the morning? Because they would ride to Zenda and return with a guard of soldiers to take the king to the station. Why was the king grateful to his brother? He said that it was good of his brother to let him use his guards. How did Duke Michael pretend to be generous? He ordered his servant to bring his guests more food. Why was the king's pulse weak? Because he ate from the poisoned cake the previous night. What would happen if the king wasn't crowned, and why? If the king wasn't crowned, his brother would be crowned as he led most of the army. Why did Rodolphe think it was impossible to go to Streltsov? As the people would realize that he wasn't the king and that he was English. What did Sabt suggest to mislead the guards? He suggested hiding the king in the cellar. What was the plan to get the king to Streltsov? Sabt and Rodolphe would leave the palace and come back on their horses. Fritz could stay to guard the king's bedroom in the palace. Sabt would tell Joseph to get the king ready for the journey back. The king would return to the palace with Sabt in the dark. Rodolphe would ride as fast as he could to the border and try to leave before it was light. Important quotations. I agree, he must go. Who said these words and to whom? Sabt said these words to the king. Who is he? It's Rodolphe. What was the speaker's job? He was an old soldier for the king. That wasn't funny. Who said these words? Rodolphe said these words. To whom? To Sabt. When did the speaker say it? He said it when Sabt had thrown water over him to wake him up. Me? That's impossible. Who said it? Rodolphe. To whom? To Sabt. What was impossible and why? What was impossible is going to Streltsov because people would realize that he wasn't the king. Find the mistake and correct it. The king asked Michael to forgive him if he seemed surprised. It's Rodolphe. The king asked Rodolphe to forgive him if he seemed surprised. Johann was the first keeper. No, he was the first guard. Rodolphe was so hungry that he ate a lot of salty food. Rodolphe was so hungry that he ate a lot of tasty food. The king was lying on the floor as he was speaking heavily. The king was lying on the floor as he was breathing heavily. Rodolphe bent down to measure the king's pulse. Rodolphe bent down to feel the king's pulse. Thanks for listening with Nafham, learn easily and simply.